So news broke out that Mr. Jeff Bezos' iPhone was hacked by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. Mr. Bezos reportedly received a WhatsApp message containing a video from a WhatsApp account belonging to the Crown Prince. And boom, that was it. Malwares were installed on the phone as soon as the video file was downloaded, which started exporting data out of Jeff Bezos' phone to some servers somewhere in the Middle East or wherever. But wait a minute, how is it even possible to hack Jeff Bezos' phone? I mean, we're talking about Jeff Bezos, the richest guy in the world, one of the biggest tech guys of this generation, the guy that owns some of the biggest tech companies in the world like Amazon Web Services, a company that controls half the internet. In 2017, when Amazon Web Services servers went down for almost 4 hours, half of the internet nearly crumbled. What makes it even more scarier is that he was using an iPhone, a phone that is considered to be the most secured in the world. And to crown it all, the messages came via a platform like WhatsApp, which Facebook boasts to be the most secured with an end-to-end encryption. If Jeff Bezos' phone can be hacked, are regular people like you and me safe? How was it even possible in the first place? What happened? Was it truly the Saudi Arabian government that was responsible? Let's go back in time to when it all started. On January 9, 2018, Jeff Bezos announced that he and his wife Mackenzie were seeking a divorce. The couple released a joint statement confirming their divorce. Then shortly after the announcement, a bombshell dropped from the National Enquirer, which published a story alleging that Jeff Bezos was having an affair with Lauren Sanchez. The National Enquirer said it had conducted a 4-month investigation into Bezos and Sanchez's relationship and had obtained texts and photos the couple had sent to each other. The Enquirer said it had tracked the couple across 5 states and 40,000 miles, tailed them in private jets, swanky limos, helicopter rides, romantic hikes, 5-star hotel hideaways, intimate dinner dates and quality time in hidden love nests. Jeff Bezos had separated from his wife earlier on and started dating Lauren Sanchez, and Mackenzie knew about the affair. The Enquirer said it had gotten his hands on raunchy messages and erotic selfies, including a text message that reportedly reads, "I love you alive, girl." The tabloid said it also had racy photos of both Bezos and Sanchez, and another way Bezos was standing naked with his cucumber pointing at something, including one that was too explicit to mention. After the publications, questions started coming up about the Enquirer's motives for investigating Bezos and Sanchez and the tabloid's connection to President Trump. President Trump and Jeff Bezos are not really good buddies. Jeff Bezos also owns the Washington Post, which, like CNN, are not really in the good books of Donald Trump and his administration. Jeff Bezos was keen on knowing how the Enquirer grabbed hold of his private messages and pictures. Bezos' head of security, Gavin DeBecker, headed up the investigation. DeBecker said at the time that he thought the leaks were politically motivated, which AMI denied. The investigation initially pointed to Michael Sanchez, Lauren's brother and an outspoken Trump supporter, as the person who leaked the photos and text, which Sanchez denied. Then in February 2019, Bezos published a blog post titled, "No Thank You, Mr. Pecker," in which he accused Pecker and AMI of trying to blackmail him. Bezos wrote that the publisher had been threatening him with the publication of explicit photos he'd taken of himself unless he stopped investigating who was leaking his photos and text to the tabloid. AMI also demanded that Bezos no longer claim the publisher's investigation into his personal life was influenced by political motivations. As a result, Bezos published the emails he'd received from AMI. Jeff Bezos also hinted in the post that there may have been a link between the investigation into his relationship with Sanchez and the Saudi Arabian government specifically, that he might have been a target of the Saudis because he owns the Washington Post, which provided unrelenting coverage of the murder of East journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was killed by Saudi agents. Sometime in April 2018, Jeff Bezos was having a good time at a dinner party in Los Angeles, where he met the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. After talking, chatting, and saying whatever rich people say to each other, the two exchanged phone numbers, but they weren't in regular contacts. Then on the 1st of May 2018, a WhatsApp message came into Mr. Bezos' phone from an account belonging to the Crown Prince, containing a video file. That video file was likely loaded with malware. Audits found that the massive exfiltration of data from Bezos' device began hours after receiving the encrypted video file from Prince Mohammed, with the amount of outflowing data surging by nearly 3,000% and continuing for months. Companies that specialize in creating custom softwares for clients to hack phones have proliferated in recent years, as messaging services and computers have become harder to infiltrate due to strong encryption. Experts also noted that Mr. Katani, the Crown Prince's media advisor, was involved in organizing an online campaign denouncing the Washington Post and calling for a boycott of Amazon. Mr. Katani, who was sanctioned by the US for his role in the Khashoggi killing, sought out spyware from Israeli-based NSO Group and one of its affiliates, which began providing the kingdom with surveillance tools in 2017 in a $55 million deal, according to the Wall Street Journal. Mr. Bezos once appeared to have a potentially lucrative relationship with the Saudi government. Amazon came close to striking a $1 billion deal to build 3 large data centers for its highly profitable Amazon Web Services unit in the country. Those discussions collapsed following the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. The disclosure also raises difficult questions for the kingdom about the circumstances around how the National Enquirer came to publish intimate details about Bezos' private life, including text messages. It may also lead to renewed scrutiny about what the Crown Prince and his inner circle were doing in the months prior to the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, the Washington Post journalist who was killed in October 2018, 5 months after the alleged hack of the newspaper owner's cell phone. Jamal Khashoggi worked for the Bezos-owned Washington Post, leading to speculation that the Saudis were somehow involved with the National Enquirer's investigation. The National Enquirer's publisher, AMI, is headed up by David Pecker, who has a friendship with President Trump that dates back to the 90s. Pecker is also said to have engaged in a practice called catch and kill, where Pecker will help cover up any news stories that might cast Donald Trump in a bad limelight. Pecker is also friends with the Crown Prince. They first met in Saudi Arabia in 2017 and got together the following year when Mohammed bin Salman visited New York City. AMI even published a funding issue about Mohammed bin Salman during that visit. So at this point, it makes sense how the National Enquirer have laid hands on Jeff Bezos' personal data. Jared Kushner, who is Trump's son-in-law and a top aide at the White House, also a close friend to the Saudi Crown Prince, has been using WhatsApp to communicate with bin Salman, which is also raising reports and concerns that his phone was also hacked.